Hello, homies, and a very warm welcome to Homeopathy Hangout. Today, we get to hang out with the absolutely lovely Jill Giesinger in Alberta, Canada. Welcome, Jill.
Thank you. It's so fun to be here with you.
It's fun to have you. And just as I said Giesinger, I realized now you said Giesinger, right?
Yes, yeah.
Giesinger.
But people get it wrong all the time.
We were just joking about both of us having German surnames, and then I still said it wrong.
No, that's okay.
And sometimes I think I really should record the pre-interview chat because we've just had such a lovely chat because Jill actually lives close to a beautiful town in Canada called Fernie, where I was a liftie in 2006. And oh my gosh, that town is just so gorgeous. And I just want to cry when I think of snowboarding.
I know. That actually was my husband's dream job when he was like young adult. He wanted to be a liftie so bad, and it just never worked out.
Oh,
But yeah, I'll have to let him know that was your job. He'll be very jealous.
oh, I was just saying my lifty t-shirt said my work is better than your holiday. And that was so true. I tell you what, working in Fernie, when you've had a nice fresh dump and you get to be the
Yes.
lifty on the furthest track and
Oh,
have to
amazing.
get there with the snowmobile in the morning and it's just so
Yeah.
fun. Anyway, I digress. That's not
Yeah.
why we're here. Tell us, Jill, how on earth did you first discover homeopathy? What was your journey?
Yeah, so I know a lot of homeopaths have this like great story about how they found it because they like healed something in themselves or their child or something, but it was just like I stumbled upon it a little bit. I was in university, I was in my second year university, I think, and I was just trying to find my path, like figure out what I was going to do. And I was just in like general sciences, general psychology, and my thinking was that I was going to go on and be a naturopath. But here, I don't know how it is there, but you have to finish your 4 year undergrad and then you go on to do your 4 year naturopathy program. And I just felt like I don't want to wait that long because, like, in my brain, I was like I had been with my husband for a long time already. And I was like, I want to get married and start having kids. And it was like 8 years. That's just a lot of school. And so I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I saw this massage therapist a lot because I had been in a bad car accident a few years prior. And so I saw him for body work and like massage and craniosacral therapy and stuff. And so I was there for an appointment one day and he worked beside a naturopath that used homeopathy. And so he just started talking about it. And he mentioned like arnica and how maybe I should give that a try. And I was like, why have you never talked to me about this before? Like, I've been seeing you for 2 years and you like, this is right up my alley. Why have you never said anything? And then so I went home and it just felt what I should be doing. And so I found I'm from Saskatchewan. So I was living near Regina, Saskatchewan. And so then I found this school in Calgary. And after doing a little bit more reading online, but I really didn't fully know what I was getting into. So I found this school in Calgary and I applied and I got accepted. And it was like 3 months later that I moved there because I didn't have to finish my undergrad. I was like, I don't want to finish this undergrad doing just pointless university studies when I was like, I just want to start the naturopath program or I want to start the homeopathy program. I don't want to be just in this kind of weird resting place. And so then I was able to go and start the 4 year program in Calgary 3 months after I found out what it was.
Wow. And your husband was happy to move over there?
We were just dating. So we were just like, I think I was 20. I was 20 when I moved to Calgary. And so he was still in university in Regina and he stayed there. He didn't last very long, just a couple more months. And then he came to Calgary too after that.
He knew it was onto a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then I did the 4 year program there. And then in our 4th year, some of us got to go to India,
Ooh.
which was super cool. We did a month at the Prana Center under Dr. Sunil Anand in Pune is where we were. And that was really cool. And I actually found out I was pregnant with my first child when I was there. So that was crazy.
That is absolutely incredible. I have not heard of a homeopathy program that the whole class goes to India for a month. I think all programs should do that. That's amazing.
It was so cool. And not everyone was able to go because it was another additional expense. But how many were? I think there was at least 6 or 7 of us students and 2 of our teachers that went. And it was so cool. It was a bit different of an experience for me because I found out I was pregnant and all of the new smells and the foods, it was just like really overwhelming for my system. And so I had a little bit of a rough time when I was there. Thank goodness I was in a homeopathy clinic so they could help me out a little bit. But yeah, it was so cool.
Oh, that's incredible. And what was it when that massage therapist told you about the arnica and everything else? What was it that you thought, okay, that's it? Or was there like anything specific that really sold you on homeopathy?
Honestly, no. It was just like it felt right. It's so hard to explain. Even when I started in my class and everyone was introducing themselves and telling them what brought them to the program. And then I told everyone mine and they're like, are you serious? Like, that is why you're here? Then nobody could really believe it. And people were like, they just thought I was a little bit crazy, but it just felt right. And I don't know how to explain it other than that it just was the right path for me. I don't know. It just like everything lined up. And so it just was a meant to be thing. And like reading about it online, like it just sounded like what I wanted.
I'm just giggling because my journey was very similar, starting out studying
Yeah.
naturopathy and then being forced to
Yeah.
do this homeopathy paper. And there was something about it that just resonated. But for me, it was just when I found out you can use it on children and when you're pregnant. And that was like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
sold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't
And
like,
just that the body, just encouraging the body to heal itself. Who doesn't want that? And who doesn't want to? Because I've always loved helping people and wanting to just, I knew that whatever career I chose, it would be like of service to the community and in health somehow. And just who wouldn't want to help people heal themselves? It just was right.
absolutely. And you have a huge following on Instagram. And I think so much of that is because of your passion in helping mums. And let's face it, it really is the hardest job on the planet. And it's the most
Yeah.
underappreciated job on the planet. Nobody in the world understands, unless you've been a mum yourself, exactly how hard it is. And it wasn't until my husband and I had a bit of a role reversal where I've been the main income earner and he's been at home looking after the kids,
Oh,
taking into
nice.
account they're older, they're 11 and 8. But in school
Yeah.
holidays, I go to work, see ya, and he's at home with the kids. And I come back after my satisfying day at work, and I come back and I can see that they're all like exhausted, dinner's not ready, the house is a mess. So I can't help but feel a little bit smug because nobody really appreciates exactly what a hard job it is. And I think part of the reason why you have such a huge following on Instagram is you've got 4 children of your own. You are living and breathing the hardest job on the planet and helping other women go through this as well. So just talk to me a little bit about your passion of treating women and why that is and your philosophy behind helping them. Just talk to us about mums.
Yeah, I'll tell you how I started my page and my blog, like it, because that lead into it. But so when I graduated from homeopathy school, I was 7 months pregnant. And so it was an awkward time. And I had been working as a nanny actually through schooling. And then in Canada, you get a year paid maternity leave. So I was like, I'm at an awkward time. So I didn't start practice right away after I graduated because I was just like, I'm just gonna try and figure out this mom role and just enjoy this first year with my son. And then I'll start practicing after that. And then I didn't go into practice until I think I was pregnant with my second child, my daughter. Like up until then, of course, you use it with your friends and your family and you practice on people and things like that. And you keep studying and learning. But it was when my daughter was a baby or sometime after she was born. I started in with clients again. I'm just here and there, just as my husband had availability. I was like, hey, I'll see clients like these nights a week or whatever. And then that just proved to be too much. It was just, I was like, no, my role is at home. I need to be fully present with my kids. That's enough. And so I need to just live that and enjoy that. But then after my third child was born, I think he was not quite a year. He was probably 9 months old. And I remember being at the park with my husband and the kids. And I was like, I had that itch to start doing something again, helping people, like just using your knowledge, using your brain a little bit, because it just felt like I wasn't. And so I was like, what would you think if I started a blog? And I just thought my initial thinking was just like, because I have like friends all the time, they ask you like, what can I take for this? And what do I do for this? And so I was like, then I don't have to type it out every time or say the same thing every time. I can just say, here's this blog, just go and read it. And I just felt like there was a little bit of a lack in that time, not about homeopathy information on the internet, but easier to understand information on the internet, just normal language, helping so people can read a remedy and be like, yeah, that's it, without all the like confusing terminology and stuff. And so I just thought, I pictured like just having a blog with posting here and there just for fun and just friends and family, mostly going on the page. And so I begrudgingly started this Instagram account because I felt like I should just share there. And that, again, I thought it was just friends and family. So they'd see I'd posted a new blog. And then I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy writing. My dad's a writer, so I get it from him. And so I just did that for a few years. And it was really in COVID that took off. Like there was this influx, and not just moms, but a lot of moms just trying to figure out how to help their families. If I feel like a lot of people in that time got their world got flipped upside down, like everyone's did, but just maybe seeing that things aren't as they thought they were. They don't want to be going to their doctor for every little thing. They want to figure out how to treat these certain things at home and feel more comfortable using. So that's when I saw a really huge jump on Instagram. And when I saw that huge jump, it was actually difficult for me because, as I told you before, like I'm a private person. I'm like a quieter, shyer person. And so having this huge following was like, I didn't like it actually. And I still like don't love it. I'm not somebody who like seeks out a big audience to talk to, but it's amazing that all these people want to learn and they like what I have to share. I realize too that it's not 30,000 people watching you at once, right? It's like very few people who actually see your stuff in that moment. And then they eventually come and see it when they need to see it. Yeah, but that's how it started. And then now I have 4 kids and my youngest is 2. And I got that itch again. I have been not as regular posting on the blog just since my 4th baby was born. It threw me through a loop a little bit. But then now I got that itch again that to start up. And so I recently just dove into practice again. I think it was in April. I opened up. I see clients on Mondays and my husband takes our youngest 2 for the day and my older 2 are at school. And it's been really great. And I focus on working with women and it's just been so rewarding. It's such a great job.
And you actually have an interesting rule in your clinic where you won't see the children before you see the mum. Tell our listeners why that is, which, by the way, I think is awesome. And I think I should implement that in my clinic too. But tell us a little bit about why that is.
Yeah. And so I guess I shouldn't say never because a few people have snuck through, but then the mom comes because I was like, I want to see you too. And so they come. But I just think like going through school and then the last few years, you just see moms are always bringing their kids, which is great because the kids need help and the moms want to help their kids. But then you just see the mom struggling and that if you could only help her too, then the kid, just based on that alone, they'll see improvement in their health. And just when the mom is healthy, she can better care for that child. And she's just a better help to those in her life. And women they're just struggling right now. I don't know. It's always hard to be a mom. But it just seems like, especially right now, women are burnt out and they're exhausted and they need help and they might not see that they need help. And so I just think it's important for them to seek that help and that care first.
Yeah, I absolutely completely agree, especially when it comes to behavioral disorders. I've often found that with children in my clinic where the kids have anger outbursts and all that. And you just know it's because the mum is stressed out and not the best version of herself. And some of these mums, they just keep bringing the kids in temper tantrums and things like that. And I say to them, you need to come in because this is not going to be healed. He is mirroring, or your daughter's mirroring, your internal state. So you need to come in.
Yes.
So we can help you so your child is not going to be throwing this back in your face. Like it's so, and the moment you become aware of that, it's suddenly crystal clear. And sometimes this ignorance really is bliss. When I was unaware of the fact that my children's emotional state is just a mirror of my internal state, that definitely was much easier. Now it's like, oh, everything's on me. Okay, I have to do the work. I have to heal myself.
Yeah.
And then you have the beautiful flow-on effect of the kids, just calming after that.
Yeah, I know. I actually have something to share on that because I experienced that with my son in the last few years. My oldest, he can tend to like the more ADD behaviors and like he can become like sensitive. And I realized just how much my nervous system needed attention. And so then just by working on that and being at a lower level of reactivity, just how much that helps him, not only also his nervous system being calmer and like a lower baseline, but if he's having a hard time, then how much easier it is for me to help him when I'm at a lower reactivity. And it's just, moms just everywhere need homeopathy.
I often wonder, and especially with two kids, two, that's it for me. Like anybody with three, four, we've got a couple of homeschool families here in Perth with 10 kids each. And I'm just like, I don't know how you do it.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
as a mum, how could you ever survive without homeopathy? Sometimes I see mums with all these kids that don't use homeopathy. I'm like, how do you do it? I couldn't, I can't
Honestly,
imagine
I
my life
know.
without homeopathy.
I'm so glad that I found homeopathy before I had kids. And
Yeah.
so I didn't have to go on a journey to find it. And I had it from the beginning of my pregnancy. And I'm so excited when people find even just my Instagram page, not even an appointment, just so they have that information and they know that there is an alternative to the mainstream route.
Absolutely.
And
The
I just,
kids
yeah,
are so much
I can't,
stronger because of that. Hey,
yeah,
like, oh, look at my kids when
yeah.
they get sick. They just bounce back. So their immune systems are so ridiculously strong. And it makes my job so much easier because they're not sick all the time.
I know, like just like we're away right now. And yesterday my daughter was a little bit off. And so I gave her some Ferrum Foss. She had a nap on the couch. She woke up, okay, I'm ready to go on my sleepover
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
And then today I think my son caught what she had. And this morning he woke up and he said, Mom, I have a headache and it hurts when I bounce around. I was like, okay, first of all, don't bounce around. And then second of all, here's embryonia. And then he went to bed, had a nap, and he woke up. He's like, hey, let's go to the beach. And if they need to get sick, they will, right? They'll take that rest period. But it's just so nice to have something safe and natural to give them to just help their body be like, hey, I'm going to have a power nap and then I'll be all good and let's go, right?
Well, we've just been in Bali for 10 days. We just got back a few days ago. And we've had a few things in that time, a few upset tummies, a few headaches, a few gastro type things. And homeopathy just nips it all in the bud, where anybody else, it might have been like 2 or 3 days or whatever. For us, we just nip it in the bud that same day with the right remedy. And you're right. Often the kids will go have a sleep and they'll wake up and they'll be fine. So just that it's not that they don't get sick. It's just that when they get sick, they bounce back so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. Like, this school year, my son was in grade 2 and we had a bad winter for sickness for not our family, but just in Canada. And it sounds like all over the world. It was a bad winter. And his class, kids were gone for 3 weeks at a time with this one illness that went through the school. And I don't know if we got it or not, but like my kids got a few bugs through the school year, but not that took them out for more than a day. And it's just like, I wish that we could just, instead of the public health nurse coming into the school and giving out these forms for whatever they're going to do, then it can be a homeopath coming into the school. And here's these top remedies that maybe you should have on hand for the sickness going around. But
Imagine.
Yeah, just how healthy all the kids of the world would be if that's what we did.
Unbelievable. And how much money the government would save. And how much more productive we would be because parents don't have to take time off work and kids are not missing out on days of school. So, the flow-on effect of having a healthier nation is just absolutely incredible.
It is incredible.
Now, what other sort of things with 4 kids and living in such a beautiful nature? I mean, Canada is just so stunningly beautiful, and the outdoor lifestyle you have over there is just, to die for. What sort of other things do you treat your kiddies with on a regular basis?
Well, 3 of my kids are boys, and they're very, compared to my daughter. I know some girls are more like tough and rough and tumbly, but that's how my boys are. And so we go through a lot of arnica. My oldest, he's really huge into mountain biking. And so there's a lot of arnica. And even me now, I'm trying, now that my babies are getting a little bit older, he's trying to teach me like all the ins and outs of mountain biking. So me too, I'm taking a lot of arnica and rest talks this summer. But then the rest of my kids, what do we use a lot? We use a lot of aconite and bryonia. I use that Banjiri protocol a lot to really nip sicknesses in the bud. And it works like 95% of the time, I would say, for us too. My daughter can tend, as a lot of girls can be, she can tend to be the more like pulsatilla type when she's first starting to, maybe if she's tired, like she had a sleepover last night. So we used pulsatilla this morning. She was a little bit weepy and tired, and sometimes her sicknesses can display that way too. Our mosquitoes have been pretty bad where we live right now because we've had a lot of moisture versus a lot of Alberta's been on fire. We've had a lot of rain. And so we've been using a lot of Apis, and here we're at my parents' house right now. They still have a lot of ticks. And so I've been using a lot of ledum, and just depending on the season, it just depends. But usually arnica, as with most people, that's what I don't go anywhere without my arnica or my aconite.
You might have to give them all an arnica, like potency at the start of the mountain biking season. Although does he go, oh, you can't really go year round when there's snow, hey, with the mountain biking?
No, we don't.
No, I have dreams of snowboarding, hey.
Do you really?
Oh,
Seriously, come visit me
so
sometime.
much. So much.
But he just has always been a really good biker. And it's just amazing to watch him like going down a mountain and just like how at only 8 years old, just how like he can just follow the trail like as fast as he goes. And this past year, I'm trying to be a more positive person. I'm not trying to think about the negative outcome that could come from him cruising down the mountain that fast. But but that's a really good idea with the potency of arnica.
I was kind of half kidding, but I reckon that might be helpful.
I think it might. He hasn't like, none of my kids have ever broken anything, knock on wood, but yeah, it's to have on hand. I should do that.
And Jill, you also have a course that you've created more recently. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about what that is and who it's for and how they can access that?
Yeah, it's been a goal of mine for a long time, but mom life, like my priority during my day is with my kids. And then I have like at least one day a week where I'm in clinic. And then there's just been no time. Like you never have enough time in the day, right? But this year, 2023, I really put a lot of my energy and like my extra time, if we have extra time, into just really focusing on this course. And it's called Flow with Homeopathy. And it's about the top homeopathic remedies for common menstrual cycle complaints. And I wanted to start with that topic just because it's something that I see a lot in clinic, women struggling with, and that I hear a lot about their struggles. And even since the 2020 times, cycles got really wonky and strange. Yeah. And there was just a lot of it where I just saw they can figure this out on their own at home. And so I just wanted to put it into a nice little, I call it a course, but it's just audio recordings. And just it's an ebook. And so it's just a really simple way to just like, the ebook is the main reference material. And then you can just listen to the audios to let it soak in and we'll let the information wash over you. And then, so the topics that I cover are, I should have written these down: heavy flow, light flow, cycle irregularities, like too short of a cycle or too long of a cycle, mood irregularities, like anxiety, panic, like PMS type mood changes, low sex drive, vaginal dryness, insomnia, and just all of the common things that women can experience in that monthly cycle, and just putting it in like hopefully an easy to understand format and an easy to find format. And yeah, I just felt like it was something that was needed. And so I've heard from a few people that they've really enjoyed it. And so I know that your listeners hopefully will too.
Amazing. And where do people get hold of that?
So it's on my website, herhomeopathy.ca.
Herhomeopathy.ca. Amazing.
Yeah.
I get really excited that there's so much more information out there these days on how women can empower themselves to have a really beautiful cycle and to really get in touch with that, and actually educating us about all the creativity and all the ebbs and flows and energy and how we can use that to our advantage. I love that more of that is coming out. And one of my favorite books of all time is The Period Repair Manual by Lara Briden. I love that book so much. I feel it's something that every girl, as soon as she starts her period, should be given that. It's one of those things that, you know, by the school or the church or the community or your mum, like somebody should give you that book so you can actually understand what it is that's happening in your body on a really deep level and really honor that and celebrate it. And it's really, I don't know if I should say this on the podcast, but having just been in Bali, of course, you're not allowed to go into the temples when you have your period because you're considered dirty. And everything in me was just fire. Like I was like raging on the inside because I'm like, how do you guys want to anyway, I got really upset. I didn't say a word to anybody. I kept it to myself because I understand where they're coming from as their religion and everything else. But just thinking that sort of thinking is not going to help at all to have a woman in that country celebrate and honor and be proud of her period, because a period is a normal, beautiful, pain-free, easy period is a sign of your body working exactly as Mother Nature or whoever you want to call it intended it to work, to be celebrated, not you know, like hidden away. Or anyway, I just want more people to talk about periods. I'm passionate about periods.
I know. And I love the movement too of people like really starting to tune into that cycle and working with, because we have strengths at certain times. And like strengths at other times, and like times of the month where our energy is high and we can be more productive, and then times of the month where energy is low and we can go inward a little bit. And I love that women are starting to listen to that instead of fight against that, because it's so important. And then we thrive, and it's so easy then to just flow through our life, and it's not a struggle. We're not fighting against the low energy times. We can work with that.
Absolutely. And especially with our go, go, go lifestyle as mums or as women, when there's that lower time that okay, this is time to honor my body, rest.
Yeah. And if maybe I need a nap today, and try and take that nap.
Absolutely. And I'm seeing this trend of having, like, I don't know what they call them, moon circles or things, the red tents and all these types of events that are being held, especially for young girls, and how they, like my mum was saying that she didn't even know what was happening. She just had this blood on her pants and she thought she was dying because her mum never took that generation where they just never talk to their children about their daughters about what's happening to their bodies. So it was a huge fright. It was something that had to be hidden away and kept secret, and all that. Whereas I'm seeing this trend definitely here in Perth, where there's more of these events being held for young girls who are about to start their period or have just started it, and celebrating it. And like, that gets me really excited, because then if you are being told by somebody to take a pharmaceutical medication to suppress this natural, beautiful process of yours, then you're going to instinctively go, I'm not going to do that. This is something that's precious and beautiful as my body's functioning perfectly. So I really want to get this mindset of ours back to what's natural and normal and needs to be celebrated instead of being suppressed.
Yeah. And like the women who, I guess a lot of people get the Depo-Provera shot or whatever now, so they don't get a period for a while. But like when I was younger, just the people that like skipped that, like when they're on the pill and they skip that week where they're supposed to bleed, just so they don't have to be inconvenienced, or they don't have to suffer these symptoms that come with like their cycle and their period. And I'm glad that it seems like a lot of people are not only getting away from the pill, but just starting to embrace their period and not looking at it as a time, but not as a time to dread. We don't need to dread our period. It is beautiful, like you said.
Absolutely is. And also teaching women what a healthy period should look like, because many of them, especially if it's not something that gets talked about much, they think it's normal for them to be in a lot of pain every month, or to have loads of cravings, or to have very heavy bleeding, or to have loads of spotting before or after, or have very painful ovulation. So they just think that's the way it should be, but it's not. It should be pretty much a non-event. And that's where homeopathy really shines. And the amount of women with painful or heavy periods, or have migraines with the periods, all these sorts of things that we can treat with homeopathy is just incredible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And it's like people think it's normal because through, I don't know, movies or whatever, it almost is just not glamorized, but just it's made to seem so normal. And you know that it is common, but common doesn't equal normal. And so just to get that word out there that it should be like a teeny little blip in your energy. And like you might need a nap one day or two. And then otherwise you really shouldn't be affected.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you've seen this in clinic as well, but certainly since recent medical interventions, there has been some wacky stuff happening with menstrual cycles.
Yes,
that homeopathy
there has
so many incredible answers for, but holy moly, if people haven't woken up after this, I don't know what's going to wake them up. But
I know. And even like, because a lot of the women I see haven't danced with that. Yeah. And so it's crazy though, how it has affected those people, even
we can say it on here. It's fine. But basically we're seeing that too, where even if you haven't had the shot, that woman's dead cycles have been affected due to the transmission.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like the homeopath, she was a teacher of mine. The clinic that she worked in, it was a chiropractic clinic. And so they had a lot of people coming and going, and the young ladies that worked reception, their periods were ridiculously crazy, so heavy and so constant, so much clotting. And just that has been the story for so many people. And that's when it started, when those shots started to roll out. Before this time, things were normal. Things were good. Things were not very heavy. They only lasted a couple, like 3-4 days. And then all of a sudden, these women are having 2-3 week long heavy periods.
Well, I have a really cool little success story, actually, with a really good client of mine. She lives rural, but every 2 weeks she has to go into town to go and do her shopping. And every 2 weeks when she goes into town, she gets her period from being around people who have had the jab. She has not herself. And she's kind of been able to nip it in the bud or keep it at bay a little bit with a remedy called Boothus australis, which Leah Golden, who was on the podcast, mentioned in one of our earlier episodes. So she was using that remedy along with another combination remedy that I made, which was made from the shots themselves and a couple of other things, DNA and RNA in homeopathic potency. So that would help her, but she was still kind of get it, but not as bad. And then recently she started using the remedy that's made from graphene oxide. And she says she hasn't had any issues with her period since. So now just normal once a month. So, we have so many answers with homeopathy. And I think this course of yours is going to be really, really helpful to give women that power back in their hands of how they can take charge of their own menstrual health and celebrate it and embrace it because
and like that case of that lady, like these things, like in the course in Flow, they are just like simple things, and these remedies are just a good place to begin. But if it doesn't help or you're not seeing success, then it is necessary to see a homeopath and find like a little bit different of a less common remedy. But for most people, they'll see success in the remedies that I share there.
I'm really glad that you've said that too, because one of my little gripes with a lot of homeopaths is they try to keep the information to themselves. They don't want to share. Luckily, that's not happening. So there's definitely more information being shared in a more digestible manner, which is really great because homeopathy is so safe and effective. Very often, people can do a lot with their own home prescribing with just a little bit of information. And I have that same sort of philosophy where I will actually give quite a lot of information to help people to home prescribe. And then, if you have lots of PMS and you don't need to go see a homeopath to go try some sepia, try a few doses of sepia when you're feeling that. And if it helps, great. If it doesn't, go see a homeopath. But you're not going to do any harm by trying some sepia. So by doing your course and hearing some remedies, you're going to resonate with some of them more than others. So then try a few doses of that remedy for a couple of weeks, see how you go. If it's not the right remedy, it's not going to do anything. And then maybe try even a second remedy or a third remedy. And, if that doesn't work, go see a homeopath. That's what they're there for.
Exactly.
But if you're on a tight budget, why should you suffer if you can't afford to go see a homeopath when there are safe remedies that you can use?
I totally agree with you. And I think that's part of the reason too why my page took off, because like I was giving away, as people were like, why are you giving all this information away for free? And it's like, well, it's out there. It's just something I've stumbled upon and I'm going to hide it to myself. Like, why not share it with them? I want people to be able to help themselves and help their families and get better. And like you said, a lot of people cannot afford to see a homeopath, and I want them to be well too.
Yeah.
And so I have no problem sharing information. Yeah. The same as you, encouraging people to try it on their own. See if you can find that remedy for yourself, and good for you if you can.
Absolutely. Oh, that warms my heart.
Yeah.
So Jill, what is the final message that you want to leave our listeners with, and where are all the places that they can get hold of you?
The final thing. Well, you brought up sepia. So the final thing that I want to say, try some sepia.
Yeah.
Just the moms of the world. And not even moms, women in this world, like just the go. It's just a remedy that honestly, every woman, like from like childbearing years and up, it's just one that everyone needs. And the miracle worker that it will be in your life if you even take a 200 C of sepia like twice a day or every other day for just like, you might only need a couple doses, but even like a week, just watch how it shifts your life.
Absolutely. It works for me in under 5 minutes. If I have a dose of sepia in under 5 minutes, I feel just my body relaxing. And I always say it's the remedy for when you want to kill your husband and run away from your kids. But it's not even to that severity, but just the daily grind.
Yeah. Even like when I've said before to like the people on my Instagram page, like when you are cooking supper and people keep coming into your kitchen and bumping into you and you just feel like you want to explode, just take some sepia and all of a sudden you're calm, you're chill. I can do this. I can make it till bedtime. No problem.
It's such a good remedy. I cannot tell you how many women have thanked me for getting them on that remedy. It is so good.
I know. Everyone needs, like literally everyone needs it. At some point in your life, you will need sepia anyway. But then they can find me on herhomeopathy.ca or my Instagram page is at her homeopathy.
Amazing. It was really cool to connect with you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I've really been looking forward to our chat today because it was a while ago that we kind of hooked this up. So it's great
Yes,
to
it
actually
was.
be able to sit down. And when the snow comes, please just make like a little snow angel for me.
Okay. I'll take a snowboarding video for you.
Oh, okay. I'll probably cry while I'm watching it, but that would be awesome. Those
Yeah.
tree runs and the tree runs in the fresh powder. Oh my God, it's just nothing like it.
Yeah.
Makes
There's
it
not.
cool.
No. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to quietly cry after this, but it was really lovely chatting with you today.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yeah. Thanks. You too.